Sure.
Hey guys, welcome, Grand Training Systems. Today we're talking about the squat. There's 1,000 videos on it, but through my athletes, through my clients, and through the class I have at Sportsville, I'm learning that more and more people still don't understand how to do one. So I apologize for the echo, but welcome to the new physio room. This is where we do the physiotherapy. The other building, the other room you saw that we've done the videos in is the strength room. So this is about a month old. We're still finishing it. Explains the echo. We still need to get some furniture to dampen that down, but this is the new room. So back to the squat. First thing I'm going to start with is off the carpet. You notice I have my shoes off because the first thing I want to talk about is torque. Drehmoment in German, but torque for the rest of us. And why it's important is because it's going to basically give the direction that we want our knees to go. So with that making no sense at all, I explain. First thing we do, the squat is very similar to tennis actually, for the tennis players that are watching this video, but for everybody else, about 10 years ago we used to say the stance in tennis was shoulder width. And now they're saying, well, to get a bit lower, we want a bit wider than shoulder width. And this is the exact same thing as a squat. Most likely, probably because tennis players stand in a semi-squat position, they realize that shoulder width is not wide enough. So, first thing is we want the person to be a bit wider than shoulder width. The next most important thing is going to be that Drehmoment we spoke about, or the torque. And I don't know if you can zoom in on my ankle, but what we're going to do with our feet is we're going to create a screwing mechanism. Now that doesn't mean I'm going to turn my feet out. That's cheating. 1, 2, that doesn't create torque, and 3, that actually tears our knee apart, which I will discuss a bit later. So, feet are always straight, and what we're going to do is we're going to create this screwing motion into the ground. So the first thing you see is as I create that torque, my feet are going to slide a bit on the floor. This floor is not the greatest, and I have socks on, but you get the idea. But you're going to see my knees automatically turn out a bit. This is actually what we want. What you might also notice is with my ankle. Right now my ankle is a bit collapsed, my right one especially. I've injured it more than I can imagine. However, once I create that Drehmoment, look what happens to my arch. It automatically lifts back into a neutral, natural, correct position. So this is another thing that's very good with this squat technique, is it actually promotes correct mechanics within, well, the entire body, but especially your ankle. So, going back to the squat, here we are, you see me creating this Drehmoment here. Once I have created this Drehmoment, I want to then focus on my butt, or the back part of my body, my hamstrings, however you want to think about it, moving first. I don't want the movement coming from my knees. If you start squat, let's say with your hands forward, I turn sideways here, and the first motion, even after you get this Drehmoment, is from your knees, you are starting the position wrong, so you're going to go through the position incorrectly, and you're going to end in an incorrect position. So it's very important how we start this, the beginning of the squat. So here we are, create this Drehmoment. First thing I'm going to do is I like to think I come from the bottom of my hamstrings first as I begin to move. Now as I start dropping down in this air squat, as we call it, because I'm squatting with no weight, my knees can move 2 directions. They can go 10 directions, but we focus on the 2. They can either go forward, as we spoke about, 3 directions, 1 counting they don't go anywhere. They can just stay exactly where they are, parallel to my feet, or the 3rd direction is they can come out. I'll turn around so we can see it a bit. I pull my hands up here. When I'm squatting down, while this may be a correct squat, you can see that my knees have not come forward, they have stayed exactly straight, it's actually better to get them to come out. So here we are with a good squat, there's nothing wrong with this. However, when my knees come out in this V position, this is that torque that I'm creating. I'm going to put my shoes back on so I stop sliding here a bit. Again, this is not the best floor to be squatting on. Hopefully your gym has something a bit better. But as you see here, I'm feet shoulder width apart. I create this Drehmoment, where you can see the minute I turn, my knees pop out of it, and as I come down, my knees open up. So my feet are not doing this, nor are my feet turning out. We call this a duck squat. We want to stay away from this for many reasons. Quickly, because we have the meniscus inside, and the meniscus works perfectly with correct knee mechanics. But once you turn that foot and you start squatting incorrectly, your knee is then going to start grinding away at that meniscus. So this is what we do not want. This is why it's so important to keep those feet forward. So again, feet forward, creating that drain moment, that torque, and coming down and allowing those knees to really open up. Again, I don't want those knees staying straight. I definitely don't want them coming forward. If your knees are coming forward like this, over the front of your toe, you're going to be, one, putting way too much pressure on your knees, and number two, as you start coming forward, you're going to notice that that medial arch right here begins to collapse. Once that collapses, not only are you destroying your ankle, but look what starts happening to my knee on the inside. We're putting a very large medial valgus pressure, if you will, on the inside of that knee, which is not good. So again, creating a drain moment, allowing the knees to come out, keeping those ankles in a neutral position, and I'm still working on creating that drain moment in my feet as I'm down. So I'm still focusing on turning those feet out, which is going to help me keep this stable position. And as I come up, I'm still focusing on trying to turn my feet out like that into the ground. So as I do one correctly, you see me create the drain moment. Keep my feet straight, sorry. I come down, and then I come up. And as you notice, my knees come out as I go down, and then as I stand back up, they come in more of a neutral position. However, I'm always holding that drain moment. If you have trouble with this torque, the first great place to practice it is actually in your shower, when you're just standing there, because most of us usually stand in the shower in a bit of a broken position. Stand yourself up in a normal position, practice on turning those feet, and squeezing that butt. This is a very nice way to practice the same movement or direction that we want the feet to turn while we're doing that squat. So again, there's 1,000 other things I could go over, more with the meniscus, how we always want your butt to stay out and not tuck under, but these are different issues for the squat. So the main thing I want to focus on here is feet a bit more than shoulder width, creating that drain moment, and allowing the knees, you got 3 directions: forward, nowhere, or out. Get them to go out. If you're tight in the adductors or you're tight in the soleus, you're going to notice right away that's unfortunately not an excuse. Get them longer, get them more mobile, so your squat can be correct. Because if you don't, I promise you, if you're squatting with your knees forward in a broken position, depending on what you're doing, you're going to either be in a lot of pain 10 years down the road, or you're going to be on a surgical table. So don't let that happen to you. Get the squat correct. Wider than shoulder width, drain moment, or torque, whatever you want to call it. Knees out, back straight. Any questions? Right? Maybe I do a couple follow-up videos on some other issues, butt wink, whatever you want to call it, when the butt comes in, when the knees go forward, the meniscus. But these are the most important things for the squat. Hope that's not too long. Hope everything made sense. And see you next video. Peace.